So this is the Combat Station. I'm your host, Ty Matthews, and today we have a special guest on MMA fighter Tyler Ray. How you doing, mate?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Mate, I'm doing all right. So let's get into it. Ex-MMA last weekend, you had a fight with John Howard, MMA veteran. What does this win mean to you? And how hard was the fight?
This win means a lot to me. This is a big win. It's my biggest win yet over a tough UFC vet. Like I had 14 fights in the UFC, over 40 MMA fights. He's a guy that I used to watch on TV when I was a teenager myself training. So this is a really big fight for me. It was really cool to be in there with somebody like him. But the fight itself, I expected. It was pretty much what I expected. I obviously I would have liked to have gotten in there and finished him and made a really, really big statement. But I feel the way I controlled the whole fight from start to finish, I won every single round and I dominated the whole fight. I was happy with my performance, and it was as expected. It was a tough fight against a tough dude.
What's the plan going forward? You gonna stick with ex-MMA, or do you think it maybe want to get into another promotion, maybe a higher, bigger one?
Now we got our sights set on the big leagues now. It's pushing to get into the big promotions, UFC, Bellator 1. So that's the next thing. That's what we're working on.
Have you been in talks with any of the promotions recently, before the fight or after this one?
A little bit here and there, but everything's still developing. So I'm just kind of taking time to sit back and analyze and process everything.
Now, I saw on your Insta you were at the PFL last night.
Yeah.
What did you think of the event in general, and were there any highlights to you?
It was a big event. It was good. PFL puts on a good show, and obviously when you've got 6 fights of guys that are all out there fighting for $1 million, you're going to get some entertaining fights. The heavyweight fight was a banger last night. Those guys were throwing down. And then it was cool to see Ray Cooper in there to get the knockout, especially because I just beat the guy that knocked him out. So it's just cool to be able to see those things unfolding in front of my eyes, and I know what's capable, and it's inspiring, even just right off a fresh win to go and see all that.
Now, speaking of PFL, Clarissa Shields had a fight. She lost by split decision. I'm just going to ask, what's your opinion on her coming to MMA and coming in with a boxing skill set? What would you say would make that harder for her?
You know, I respect her. My hats are off to her because she's doing what a lot of the other boxers won't do. And she stepped into our world and came in here and fought our rule set. And she's got a bright future ahead of her. She's still learning the game. But if you're just going to separate her boxing skill set alone, that girl is already a legend. She's a gold medalist. She's a beast. She's done her thing in the professional boxing world. Now she wants to try and tackle MMA. So I give all the respect to her because she's doing what a lot of other people won't. And, but yeah.
Also, Kayla Harrison fought on the card, who everyone says may be the best female in the world. Watching her live, where do you think her skill set is? Do you think she is a top 5 female in the world? And do you think she should go to the UFC?
I would like to see her in the UFC. I really think she'll just jump straight to the top. But then it would get really tricky because she trains with the champion. That's like one of her main training partners is her and Nunez. So it would be tricky to see that fold. But I think that's what the world wants to see. I believe she is one of the top 5 females in the world. But you never know too. Sometimes you see these people that are so dominant, but it's just the talent isn't there in that league. So maybe she does step up and we see, hey, she is human. She's still going to be good, but she's not like what we thought. But you never know until you see. So that's why I would like to see her make that step to the UFC.
Now, when do you want to get back in the cage? Is there any time frame you feel you can get back in there?
I mean, I like staying active, but this is the most active I've had. It's been hard for me to get fights in the past. I've only been able to get 2 fights a year just because of guys turning down fights or pulling out or whatnot. And then the COVID year. So I've had 3 fights this year and I want to keep it going. I'm take a little time off to rest and relax and spend some time with my wife and friends. But I mean, I'm already back in the gym working on strength and conditioning and technique and stuff. So relatively soon, I'd like to get back in there.
Did you get any injuries during this fight? You came out just unharmed?
No, I came out pretty healthy. Pretty healthy. I'm lucky. Thank God for that. And that's always the goal, is to leave the fight healthy.
Now, I've picked out some fight night main events coming up, and I was going to ask you for your sort of predictions on a few fights. So,
right.
Max Holloway's fighting Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, that's quite a banger. Who do you have in that fight?
I think Max is going to take that one. I think Max is really like leveled up again with his striking. And I mean, Yair's flashy and he's got a lot of really crafty stuff, but I think Max will be able to outbox him and frustrate him with his boxing alone.
Now, I said them two, that's a banger of a fight. Now we've got two literal bangers, Chris Daukaus, Derrick Lewis at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I think he's going to take that one.
Honestly, I think Daukaus can take that one. That dude's got some hands on him and he hits hard. And I think he's faster than Derrick Lewis. Obviously, Derrick Lewis is always going to have that equalizer with just one punch knockout power in either hand. But I think if Daukaus is smart and uses his fight IQ, he can outbox him and win that fight.
Now, final fight, and this has been announced recently as well, Calvin Kattar, Giga Chikadze.
That's a good one. I want to go with Calvin on that one. I think that he can make it ugly. That dude's a dog. And I mean, if Giga can, I don't even know how to say his name. If he can keep it away and keep it technical, then yeah, I think he wins, just like Holloway did to Kattar. But I think Calvin just stays in his face and makes it ugly.
Now, let's end it with this. Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just a humongous thank you. The support is overwhelming. I try to take my time and get back to everybody. I appreciate all of you guys. Your support is, you don't even understand how much it means to me. And let's just keep riding this thing all the way to the top.
Well, mate, congrats on your win. And thank you for coming on here and giving me your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, man.
This has been the Combat Station, and we are out.